When studying human resource management, Gary Dessler's work provides a definitive baseline. Chapter 7 focuses on the pivot from broad organizational strategy to the precise mechanics of interviewing candidates. Too often, managers treat the interview as an informal conversation, looking for a vague sense of culture fit or general likability. The actual objective is far more rigorous. An interview is a systematic data gathering operation designed to map a candidate's profile against a predetermined empirical framework. The central challenge is extracting reliable, standardized data from something as inherently variable as a human conversation. Without a strict structural process to govern that conversation, talent acquisition ceases to be an engineered system and degrades into a pure coin toss. This diagram illustrates the competency framework, the foundation of assessment for any valid hire. We look for 3 specific data points. First is the will-do domain, measuring a candidate's inherent drive and personal alignment with the role. Second is the can-do domain, verifying technical expertise and the specialized knowledge required to execute job duties. Third is the organization fit domain, testing behavioral alignment with the company's culture and operational tempo. These independent domains combine to form a rigid structural filter. Every candidate must pass through it. Anchoring interview questions to this specific framework is the only reliable method to eliminate subjective hiring decisions. This visual captures the trap of the unstructured interview. Operating without a set format leaves interviewers relying on oversimplified binary judgments, like weighing generalized strengths against weaknesses. Relying on a gut feeling instead of standardized questions creates a process where cognitive bias goes unchecked, lowering the statistical reliability of the final selection. Consider the halo or horns effect, where a single extreme trait overpowers all other candidate data. With confirmation bias, interviewers unconsciously seek answers validating their initial impression. Finally, recency bias ensures final moments of a conversation heavily outweigh earlier valid data points. An unstructured dialogue is an undefended vector for these biases, neutralizing the competency framework entirely. The defense against these cognitive errors is the structured interview. This requires strict directive parameters, where all candidates are asked the same standardized questions. This structure relies on 2 primary question typologies. The first is the situational question, which focuses on hypothetical future scenarios. By presenting a specific work-related scenario, often starting with "suppose that" or "how would you handle," you force the candidate to reveal their real-time problem-solving architecture. The second typology is the behavioral question. Instead of hypothetical futures, this isolates verifiable past data. The logic is simple. Past performance is the most reliable empirical predictor of future performance. Alternating between these hypothetical constraints and historical data points traps the candidate in a matrix of verifiable facts rather than rehearsed talking points. To extract accurate data from a behavioral question, evaluators rely on a strict decoding framework known as the STAR method. In this case study, "Tell me about a time you used CAD Pro software." Evaluators listen for the S, situation, defining the context. Next, the T, task, outlining the client's request. Then A, action, the exact operational steps. Finally, R, result, the quantifiable outcome. If a response lacks any of these 4 specific nodes, the candidate's historical competency remains unverified and cannot be reliably stored. Building precision happens beforehand. Steps 1 and 2, analyze the job and rate main duties. Step 3 translates those into situational and behavioral questions. Step 4 creates benchmark answers to grade objectively. Finally, Step 5, appoint the panel and execute the interview. Formulating questions without preemptively benchmarking the correct answers leaves the evaluator guessing, rendering the entire structured framework practically useless. This graphic maps the total selection program, where the face-to-face interview acts as the 4th stage in a 5-part assessment pipeline. This funnel begins with massive preemptive screening, putting the applicant through in-depth online applications, multi-hour computer assessments, and simulated work environments. Following the interview, candidates face strict validation protocols, including deep background checks, drug screens, and medical evaluations. Subjecting a candidate to this holistic, deeply rigorous pipeline filters out poor fits early. This directly correlates with higher employee engagement and much lower long-term turnover. The culmination of this entire data gathering pipeline is the generation of a precise, legally sound written job offer. This document codifies the financial components agreed upon, detailing exact pay rates, comprehensive benefits, and paid leave information. It also locks in the critical legal constraints, defining the term duration, strict severance provisions, and necessary non-disclosure requirements. Rigorous structuring, from the initial job analysis to the final legal terms, isolates the facts, providing a defensible, evidence-based foundation for every hiring decision.